Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of From the District with State Senator Suzanne Weber. Suzanne, it's
Good
been a
morning.
month.
Good morning. It's a little cloudy in Tillamook this
Yeah,
morning. The sun's peeking through, but we've had some really great weather, and it's
spring.
my lawn is mowed, and I've been digging in the garden in between meetings, and so I'm getting that all ready. Um, it's time.
Well, and you actually got a little time away, right? You
I
a
did.
bit of a vacation, well earned, I think.
Well, and the thing that I dearly love is crossword puzzles, and any kind of puzzle. Okay, so it was a wonderful vacation because my sister-in-law and I got to sit for hours if we wanted to and do crossword puzzles.
To each their own, right?
I guess.
If that's what gave you a break, good for you. But it you did get a couple of weeks of downtime, which I think is awesome. But you are back at it now. The legislature
Yes.
has adjourned. So we want to talk about a little of the results of that, just some of the big things.
Yes.
Then we want to talk about some follow up.
And the governor has been busy. We're hearing on a daily basis what she has been signing, and seeing pictures of people that have been present for the signings. And it's all very interesting. I think that the most important signing we've had is 4002, which is the recriminalization and the changes made to 110.
Right. So we have recriminalized drugs. The governor has signed HB 4002, as you said. It's a little different, and honestly, there's a lot there to like. It's not everything
There
that
is.
we wanted, but there's really a lot there to like. Somebody gets popped for drug use.
Yep.
The first thing they got to do is that they go to treatment, and
Right.
if they reject that, then they go to jail.
And the thing is, in the time that we had 110, we did not concentrate on rehabilitation.
And that was the whole point.
And that was the whole point. That was why people voted for that, is because it was going to be able to get people into treatment. We didn't have the facilities, and we didn't take that opportunity to increase the facilities that we needed.
Right. And it wasn't, hey, this is going to go into effect in a couple of years so that we can have some time to build up. I mean, it went into effect, boom. And all of a sudden, police can't arrest people.
Right.
They give them this ticket and say, call this phone number and you won't have to pay this $100. And that goes straight into, I'd say, the garbage can, but usually just on the street.
Right. And when you have to wait 6 to 8 months to get a minor into a treatment program. I'm
Right.
sorry. That's unacceptable.
Right. Well, that is behind us now. Hopefully, now we can't expect. I think it's really important everybody know that doesn't get to fix things overnight.
Right.
This problem is massive in scale, and it's going to take some time to get things back to even where they were a few years ago, which weren't good. Things weren't good then, but just to even get back to that's going to take some time. But we have that bill passed. It's a wonderful thing. Another one that I just don't think is going to do much is HB 4024, which is the new limits on campaign contributions.
Right. And that's not, we can say that bill is passed and that's been signed, but that's not even going to take effect until 27.
Yeah, it's the 2026 election.
Yeah.
Not this coming election, but the
No.
election.
Right.
It's not something you're going to have to worry about. But it is the whole point of it was to stave off a ballot measure that was coming from a group of people
Right.
who wanted much stricter limits
Right.
than what 4024 does. I'm not convinced that that's actually got to be successful. Like that 4024 is there, but I would not be surprised if that group of people who still aren't happy with 4024 still, I think they very well could go forward with that ballot measure.
I think they could. I'm not hearing any noise about that right now. But they come out of the woodwork with these initiatives that
Mhm.
are half baked all the time. And I'm sorry if I sound a little jaded, but I come from an experience of several of them in one election, and uh, I think it would be unwise of them. That's the good thing about this whole campaign finance. And I will tell you that I'm not going to get any flack on it because I was so sick on the day that was voted on that I couldn't even get out of bed. So
Right.
I was not there that day. But it was truly a bipartisan effort.
Mhm.
And I think that is important. But like anything else we pass, it's not perfect.
Yeah.
And I'm sure there's going to be efforts in the future to be able to change it.
Well, to this day, I don't see what is so bad about the system we have now.
Me either.
It is one of the most transparent systems. There's no way around it, unless if anybody gives more than $100. If you give more than $100, your name is reported, your organization is reported if it's an organization, and it's put up on a website for God and everybody to see.
Right.
There is no doubt about where money comes from. So
Well, we did have some dark money that came into the last election, but that was discovered.
mhm,
I think it damaged people's reputations for sure.
right.
And it's probably isn't the only time dark money has come into um, an election cycle in Oregon. But I think it was very telling how
Yeah,
bold some people got about contributing boxfuls of money to candidates.
yeah. That's why our Secretary of State is no longer the Secretary of State that was elected.
Right.
And that probably wouldn't have been particularly reported because that was literally stacks of cash. So
Right.
that was a very interesting situation. But I'm not convinced that this bill will actually stop it from happening.
I agree with you.
So it is what it is. It's there. Um, it's not our problem, but I
Right.
think it is not gonna fix the problems.
It's not.
My personal opinion, it's not gonna fix the problems that they want to fix, and I don't think the people who feel that the problems are there are going to be happy with it. And so I think this is probably coming back at us in a couple of years as a ballot measure. My prediction, I could be 100% wrong. Lord knows I have been in the past. So that has passed. Probably one of the biggest ones, other than maybe 4002, but the biggest ones for us, particularly on the coast, is the passage of recreational immunity. You want to talk about that and how important that is to our district?
Well, yes, this was a result of a lawsuit that happened just down the coast.
Mm-hmm.
And it resulted when people realized what was going to be, what could possibly happen because we didn't have any recreational immunity in place. All of our trails were closed
Right.
because all of our public entities did not want to assume the responsibility of someone slipping and falling and suing, which
Yeah.
that started it.
We should
So,
probably, for those folks who don't know what recreational immunity is, we have many of these trails that they're not, they're not watched by anybody, but they
right.
belong to a state agency or a county or a city, a government
They're
agency.
on public property.
So
And
it's generally
and
been understood until this lawsuit that these entities are immune from prosecution or immune from lawsuits if someone is using the trail for a recreational purpose, as one would would expect one to do.
Yes.
So if you're walking down the trail and you trip over a tree root,
Yeah, root or something.
break your
Yeah.
leg, you can't sue the county or the state or whatever. But as you said, there was a lawsuit there, I think, in Newport or
It was,
Lincoln
yes,
County.
it was in
Um,
Lincoln County.
yeah, that overturned that. So
Yes.
all of a sudden, all these trails shut down.
Right. And it was really interesting to drive up the coast and look at all of the caution tape strung on the trees. And I thought to myself, what the heck is, oh,
shootings on the
yes,
trails.
we've
Yeah,
shut the trails down.
right. But there was an amendment to another bill that passed that reinstated recreational immunity. So hopefully those trails are going to be open soon if they're not already.
And it's also going to require that, municipalities in some districts are going to have to take some additional action with ordinances.
Right.
And that's fine. They should have been doing that all along, considering that.
Right. And if you're a city councilor watching this, or a mayor or a city manager, you probably already know about this. But if you don't, reach out to your city manager or reach out to the League of Oregon Cities or the Association of Oregon Counties, or the Small District Association, whatever you are. Those organizations are going to have some direction about how to deal with this.
Right. They are.
But the big news is that has been addressed. We did get that done. That was a huge thing for our district. But now there's time for follow-up. We've got the end of the legislature. Now people want to talk about what happened. They want to talk about what they want to see happen in the future. Last time around, we went a different direction other than town halls, right?
Yes.
After the first one, we couldn't even do town halls because COVID was going around. So instead of having a couple of meetings where it was at one set time and everybody could come, and quite frankly, I've been to a lot of these, and usually one or two people hijacks the meeting about the thing they want to talk about.
Right. People don't get an opportunity to discuss with the person exactly what, see their point of view, be able to address their concerns. And, I will tell you that people have brought a lot of, in the past, some wonderful ideas for possible legislation, which of course we couldn't do in the short session because we were only allowed 2 bills.
Right. So instead of the town halls, like you did last time, we're going to be doing office hours. You're going to be doing office hours. You can sign up for a half-hour time slot. It's a half hour, right?
Yes, it's a half-hour.
Half-hour time slot with Senator Weber. It is quite a bit more time-intensive for you because it isn't just like an hour here and there. It's a lot of hours, for a number of days, but it is more effective. And we found that people like it more.
Right. And I've already got, a full slate in some areas.
Yeah, we have been advertising those. So those dates are going to be first, they're coming up. So you may be listening to this and a couple of them may have already passed. But Monday the 8th in North Plains, you're going to be in North Plains having meetings there. Then Tuesday the 9th, you're going to be in Astoria. And actually, I think on that same day, you are going to be participating in Representative Javity's town hall that evening, I believe. So if you do want to do a town hall, if that's your thing, there's an opportunity there in Astoria.
That's right.
And then on the 16th, you're going to be in Seaside. And then on the 17th, you're going to be in Banks.
Yes.
We are hoping to do some more. I know there's some of the district there that you're not touching. Some of it's in Tillamook, but I think people have they knock on your door in Tillamook.
They knock on my door. They catch me while I'm walking the dog. We've had some riveting conversations during that time, and I appreciate them.
Right. But we are trying to get more of these lined up. I will say, if these dates don't work for you, or you're not able to actually get to these places,
thank you for saying that. Yes,
please do reach out, because we can arrange another time or the place, or just virtually. we can get you some times for that. But you can sign up. You can either go to the Facebook page, Senator's Facebook page, or you can just email at sen dot Suzanne Weber at OregonLegislature.gov. And Katie's going to put
That's
that
it.
underneath on the screen while I'm talking about this. So hopefully when people are seeing it, they can see
Right.
Suzanne Weber at OregonLegislature.gov, and just say you'd like a meeting with the senator. Say if you'd like it in person or you'd like it virtual. We may not be able to make in-person work if you live in like
Yes, and
Northwest
then
Portland, but we
I
will
have
try.
a list also of people that I'm going to be reaching out to, that I want to talk to, that I maybe didn't get a chance to talk to during the long session.
Mhm.
And so you may get a call from me with a request for a virtual meeting or an in-person meeting. So expect that also.
Right. And now's the other time. Go ahead.
I was going to say, I haven't stopped working though,
Right.
because this is task
Excellent.
force season.
Yeah. Yeah. What have you got going on? So we've talked about some of the big stuff that's passed. We've talked about some upcoming times for town halls, and also if at that email address, if you're don't want to meet with the senator, but you've got an idea for some legislation, you can go ahead and send it there as well.
Please. Yes.
But what
And
do
I've
you
also
have going on?
I've also expressed to some folks, especially in the education scene, that we're going to be meeting in September, and we're going to be drawing up our list of possible legislation. And that the person I was speaking with has 3 or 4 ideas that he thinks are very important for us to go forward with, and he's going to get all of that information to me also. But there's people have been suggesting things over the whole time, and we have been taking notes and writing them down so that these things can get addressed in the long session.
There is a spreadsheet.
Yes, we do have a spreadsheet.
I will note, just I want people to we should manage some expectations. If you want to come at us with a super spicy bill concept that is really something every red-blooded Republican would love and is seriously going to own the libs, keep in mind we have to get it past a democratically controlled,
Yes.
most likely, we have an election coming up. Most likely a Democrat-controlled Senate, most likely a Democrat-controlled House, and certainly a Democratic governor. So,
and the other thing is that we have to consider too is that our leaders, like our president of the Senate and our Speaker of the House, are also Democrats, and our Senate president has a lot to do with how many bills get over the desk, as I have seen and experienced.
Yeah.
Yes.
So the deal is that we can introduce a bill, and that's fine. But if it's going to be like a hot topic, so that a hot topic, like Republican talking point bill, it just isn't going to even get a hearing. So there's people who say, well, why don't you introduce a bill for that? It isn't going to go anywhere. It's just a waste of time. You can have a messaging bill all day long, and that's fine. And sometimes there's a purpose for that. But if you actually want a bill to pass, we have to write it. It has to be about something, and we have to write it in a way that 16 people in the Senate, 31 people in the House, and the governor are going to support.
Exactly.
That's just a reality. I don't like it all the time.
No.
I know you don't like it a lot of the time. But it is what it is. We have to deal with the legislature we have, not the legislature we want.
Right. So we were talking about task force season.
Yeah, sorry. I'm sorry, derailed.
We're still working on literacy and issues surrounding that, and especially how we go about training our teachers in the college setting to more adequately be prepared to teach reading, especially in language arts related subjects. I'm on the task force for absenteeism because we have a huge, you know, sometimes we're finding out that parents are feeling that going to school is optional. And so we've got over 30% of our children who are chronically absent. And so we've got to be able to, well, there's no repercussions for being absent. If you're gone 10 days, well, then you're dropped from the rolls. Well, all of that affects education. It affects teachers and teaching. It affects state school support. I mean, you could go on and on and on about what it affects. But anyway, we are looking into how to work towards getting more kids back into school on a regular basis, making it important again. Also, substitutes. You know, we had a huge problem during COVID with getting substitutes, and a lot of the rules were changed about who could come into the classroom and substitute. And so we're working on that. And then I'm also on the Oregon Hunger Task Force. So we're working through all of those issues also. So these meetings happen really often and they're really long and we have a lot to discuss. Right now, I'm going to be talking with a couple of superintendents in my district to encourage them to be part of the absenteeism task force, because I think that this is not only a problem that occurs in urban areas, it's occurring in rural areas also. And it's my understanding that we have some superintendents in our district that have been very successful at getting kids back in school, and I would like them to be a part of this task force. So, you know, that takes up a lot of hours in my week, but these meetings are virtual. And so there's a couple people that walk by the house and they see me sitting in my chair by the window here and they wave.
Well, not only do you have all the task force meetings, all of which are long and in depth, but you also have all this the local in the district meetings. You know, I know you during these in office hours meetings. Not only are you going to these communities for these office hours, but you're also going to attend other things while you're there.
Yes, there are several things. Like when I go to Astoria, I'm going to go to the Lands and Water meeting. I'm going to go to the port and see what the port is doing because I need an update on what's happening up there. Right. So you know, there's all kinds of things. I'm going to go talk to North Plains about the possibility of a food bank that they would really like to locate there, but they're not getting any results on the request for that because they've got people that can't travel to Hillsborough or Forest Grove because they have no transportation. And so we've got to be able to look into those sorts of things also.
Right, right.
And then, you know, Banks is most likely going to ask for a bond, and touring their school buildings and seeing what they need was very eye-opening. And it's something that I really support, especially if they're going to have additional housing provided in that area. They need to provide an education for those kids that are going to be moving into the area too.
Yeah, that's really important to think about as we were talking about like bringing semiconductor factories and microchip work to the Washington County area, particularly the area that you. I don't think it's in your district, but it's very close to your district.
It's very close.
In fact, like when you get these new jobs, it isn't just cool new jobs. It's where are you going to house these people? Where are these kids going to go to school?
Yes. And now it's the other issue is, are we going to have enough water to be able to support the additional housing that we need? Right. Are we going to be able to harvest enough lumber or timber to be able to provide the lumber to be able to build these houses? I mean,
do we have the builders who have the bandwidth?
Yes.
To to do it. A lot of times these builders are so far backed up, especially for some of these big. We're not talking just about one spec house here or there. I mean,
Right.
this is hundreds of houses that are going to be required.
And then we also have to look at our county government's ability to issue permits on a timely basis so that people can continue to work.
Right. So it's not when you have some of these big developments, that's great, but boy, there's a lot of unintended or maybe intended consequences that go along with this that we have to be thinking about.
Yeah, when you look at one of those new housing developments going up, you've got to think of all of the money that goes into it before they even put a shovel in the ground.
Right. Well, there's a couple more things I just want to touch on that were in the news. We haven't talked about this, so I'm going to blindside you with them.
Okay.
One of them was it ties into schools, and we've had the first lawsuit around the habitat conservation plan that was passed. We've talked a lot about Jewel, the school district of Jewel, a very, very small school district. They have filed a lawsuit.
Yes, they have.
Yes. We saw this coming, though, didn't we?
I applaud them for doing this, for stepping up, because of what could possibly happen. Clatsop County is going to take a huge hit because of this habitat conservation plan. And people are saying now, oh, well, now that it's passed, we can step up and we can help you. How are they going to do that if we still don't have the timber harvest and the money to be able to go to our small districts and our schools?
Yeah, but
which is,
if you have a plan to help people, you should have had it printed
a long time ago
and passed out before this was even being talked about.
Yes.
So the fact that you said these people, there was an article, I think, a letter to the editor in the Astorian about that.
Yes, there was.
So now that there's passed, we're ready to step up. Where the hell have you been? What are you going to do? What are you going to concretely do? Like,
are you going to be able to fund our emergency services? All of our small districts?
I'm not
most importantly, the most important infrastructure consideration we have is our kids.
Yeah, I'm not interested in 3 years worth of task force meetings about how we might be able to fix it. This is your brilliant freaking idea. So
yes,
you better have answers right now. Right now.
Yeah. So, and I saw a picture of the last load of logs going into a mill that was posted on Facebook.
Yeah.
And it just about brought tears to my eyes seeing those guys all lined up behind that last load of logs.
I just hope the people who have advocated for this thing, I hope they are held personally responsible for this.
I hope so too.
Everybody remembers who they are. Everybody remembers who they are. And when families are driven out of the community, when businesses close, when mills close, I hope they are held personally responsible for this.
Yes, I hope so too.
It is a sin against humanity what they've done.
When our electricians are all gone and our plumbers are all gone and they have those issues.
Yep. Yeah.
And they have to wait and pay.
Yep.
And they're on a fixed income. Yep. You'll see what happens.
Yep. Another big thing that hit the news here just a few days ago was the resignation of Patrick Kreitzer from Tillamook. He has done
done wonders. He has done wonders. And when he first came and he saw the number of people that were coming to the cheese factory, and he also saw the number of people that were passing through, because Tillamook is a pass-through. Mm-hmm. He called me and we met, and the creamery was really instrumental in putting together a plan to rename Tillamook as the Dairylands, because that's what we are.
Right.
And to be able to promote that not only do you go to the cheese factory, but you come downtown and you do, you enjoy, you have a glass of beer somewhere because we've got enough beer, and you walk our trails and enjoy our parks and eat our good food. And that's one of the first things he did, and I applaud him for that. And he has been a wonderful community partner ever since then.
Yeah.
Just look at the places he has taken
Right.
the creamery all the way across the country. I can go to Georgia and visit my son and go pick up some Tillamook cheese at
Yep.
the grocery store.
I remember growing up in Tillamook, and I remember when for so many years we were trying to we kind of had an identity crisis. Like,
Yes,
our downtown was kind of dying, and because it was moving away from kind of the traditional
right.
downtown, and we were looking at Lincoln City, and we were looking at Seaside. Like, how could we be a bustling downtown like that? Like, well, we were trying to be something we weren't, and I think
Right.
I was in city council too, and when we were doing the Dairylands deal,
Yes,
it really was embracing who we were.
yes.
It was not trying to be Lincoln City. We weren't trying to be
No.
Seaside. We
Cannon
were
Beach. No, we were not those places. We're not located on the coast. We're
right.
something else. We're special. We're the Dairylands.
And I think Patrick had a great deal to do with that
Yes,
success. And when you drive downtown in Tillamook now, you don't see many open storefronts anymore. It's there. I think I talked to Justin Optemeyer a year or two ago, and he said our vacancy rate is unhealthy. It's too low. So it really, I think his presence and what he did there really led to what we were able to do
Yes.
in town. And now Tillamook is just it is a destination,
Yes.
which is an awesome thing. People maybe do come for they're not passing through as much.
No,
So
our goal was to have them linger longer,
I've been successful.
and that was a successful movement. And I think that we'll see even more positive growth in that way, because I see storefronts in downtown looking like they're preparing for new things, and I that's healthy.
You're seeing not only storefronts being full, but we're
Yeah.
seeing them fix up the store.
Right.
Some of those buildings have been there for quite some time without a whole lot of maintenance.
Right.
And we're seeing that change, which is just so
Yes.
awesome. I love seeing that. Well, Senator, anything else before we wrap it up?
Well, I just wanted to, there is the issue of endorsements,
Oh,
and
yeah.
candidates are asking me for endorsements.
It's that time of year.
And, like locally, so many of these people are my friends.
I'm
I have
running
worked
against
with
each other.
them, and they're running against each other. And I don't think it's fair that I endorse any one particular candidate for a position. I know them. They're going to do a good job. But in order to do that, folks, you're going to have to register.
Right.
You're going to have to get that ballot. You're going to have to make sure you turn it back in. We've got this May election, and then we're going to gear up for the next one in November. If you are a candidate, don't miss your deadlines for your what you have to do.
Right. You are endorsing some folks.
Yes, I am.
That you see a very stark difference, or maybe one of them you know and have worked with.
Yes.
And I've had a positive relationship with, and would like to continue that. So it's not like you're doing no endorsements. So it's fine
No.
if people ask. Just know that if you're told no, it isn't necessarily that senator doesn't like you, or that the senator doesn't think you do a good job. It's just that when you are in public office for pushing 25 years or more, you build up friendships.
Yes.
And sometimes when you see
Yes, and
friends running against each other,
when the election is over, you're going to be having to work with a lot of these people also.
yeah. So no matter who wins, you got to work.
Right.
Even if your political enemies. I remember when you won in the House, you had to work with the people who were flat out trying to destroy you.
Yes, and I'm still working with some of those people.
Yes.
And for their betterment, I might add.
Yeah, I think so. So um, that is happening. It is election season. Um, that's another good reason to get out and try some of that great Tillamook beer.
Yeah.
Um,
But you know what? If you don't vote, you can't complain.
that's true. At least you shouldn't. You probably will, but you
You
shouldn't.
probably will, but
It's just that we won't care.
yeah,
All right, Senator. I think we've probably had enough. Remember, folks, we are doing these once a month now that the session is over.
right.
Reach out to us if you do have any questions. Otherwise, Senator, I will see you in May.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you, Adam. Once again, I appreciate your being able to do this with me. I think we have some good conversations.
I always enjoy it.
Thank
All
you.
right, everyone. Thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.